cabin. Burgundy leather, ivory quilting, real wood, Netflix on the headrests? Doesn't belong in a GMC. It belongs in something with a European badge and a $200,000 price tag. And the fact that it's sitting inside a Yukon shocks the entire full-size luxury segment. This is the Denali Ultimate Special Edition interior, and I'm going to walk you through every row, every surface, and every technology choice, with honest opinions on where GM got it right and where they didn't. Because at this price point, good enough isn't good enough. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this interior exists, and why it tells us where the Denali sub-brand is heading in the next 5 years. There's one material decision in the second row that I've never seen GM make on any vehicle at any price. And when we talk about whether this interior justifies what they're charging, my answer might not be what you'd expect. We're covering the driver's area, the tech stack, the executive second row, and the third row. But I've been hearing this cabin came from a design team that usually works on a different GM brand. That backstory matters. The moment the door opens, the color hits you. Deep oxblood burgundy and ivory cream, not a hint of the jet black or mahogany brown you're used to seeing in GM's lineup. Every leather surface follows the same two-tone palette. Seats, door panels, steering wheel, headliner, even the carpet is color-matched burgundy. That level of commitment is what separates a special edition from a trim package. What stands out to me is the ambient lighting. A warm amber strip runs along the beltline, under the wood trim, and down into the footwells. It creates depth without distraction. More luxury hotel than LED strip club. That's a design restraint you don't often see from American automakers. The expansive energy. The panoramic roof overhead opens the cabin visually. The ivory headliner reflects light downward, making the interior feel larger than its dimensions. My opinion, this is the most visually cohesive cabin GM has produced across any brand in the last decade. But the real test starts where the driver sits. The front seats are full-grain leather with diamond-quilted ivory center inserts, burgundy bolsters, and gold-toned Denali badging on the headrests. The quilting pattern uses a perforated design. Those aren't decorative holes, they're ventilation perforations that connect to the cooling system beneath the seat surface. The steering wheel is the single most distinctive element up front. It's wrapped entirely in color-matched burgundy leather with contrast stitching and a chrome Denali badge up a center. For anyone who's been driving GM trucks for 20 years, you've never touched a wheel that feels like this from the factory. The center console is where the engineering gets interesting. That dedicated touchscreen in the console controls seat heating, cooling, and massage functions independently from the main infotainment, so your passenger can adjust their seat without reaching across the dash. The power sliding console track gives you an additional 10 inches of storage room with a button press. Here's the first speculative technology. Sources suggest this special edition integrates a posture-adaptive seat system that uses pressure sensors embedded in the seat foam to monitor driver weight distribution over time. When the system detects fatigue-related posture shift, typically after 90 minutes of highway driving, it subtly adjusts the lumbar and bolster pressure to redistribute your weight. The sensors already exist in the seat occupancy detection system. This is a software layer on existing hardware. Now, I want to be straightforward. The seat comfort is genuinely excellent, but it still doesn't match the Lincoln Navigator Black Label's perfect position seating for sheer range of adjustment. GM has narrowed the gap, but Lincoln still leads on seat engineering in this segment. That's honest. But here's what the spec sheet doesn't tell you about the technology. Now, everything I've covered so far, the color palette, the seat engineering, the console design, that's all genuinely impressive. But the material decision I mentioned in the second row, that's where this truck crosses a line GM has never crossed before. And it changes the math on whether this competes with the Escalade or above it. The dashboard runs a full-width screen assembly. The digital instrument cluster flows directly into the 16.8-inch center touchscreen with no visible break. Real open-pore wood trim separates the screen from the lower HVAC controls, and that wood is consistent with the door panel and console trim. It reads as one continuous design language. The infotainment runs GM's Google built-in platform. Navigation, media, phone, and settings are laid out in a grid that's responsive and mature. Wireless CarPlay and Android Auto both work, and GM kept physical climate knobs below the screen, dual zone with a digital temperature readout. If you're driving an hour to the lake house with the family, you can adjust the AC without pulling your eyes off the road. At this price point, that's not a feature, it's an expectation. Here's the second speculative technology, and this connects to the backstory. Sources suggest this special edition includes a cabin acoustic management system that uses the Bose Performance Series speakers, visible on the door panels, as active noise cancellation devices. The system would use the interior microphones already present for hands-free calling to sample road noise in real time, then generate opposing sound waves through the Bose array. The engineering logic makes sense. Every piece of hardware is already in the vehicle. It's a firmware update, not a hardware addition. Where I think they missed the mark, the center stack still uses too much piano black plastic around the HVAC controls. In a cabin where everything else is leather, wood, and brushed metal, that glossy black surface collects fingerprints and cheapens the look. The Grand Wagoneer avoids this entirely with matte metallic finishes. Remember that second row material decision? Let's see it. Here's the material decision I've been building toward. The second row has executive captain's chairs, flip-up armrests, full heating and ventilation, power adjusters, and Denali embroidered in gold thread on each headrest. The burgundy and cream quilting carries through identically from the front row. Now look at the headrests. Those are 12.6-inch entertainment screens showing Netflix, independently controlled, color-matched with burgundy bezels. Between the front seats, rear passengers get their own climate panels showing dual-zone 72-degree settings, plus heated and cooled seat controls. If you're picking up clients from the airport or driving your family to a ski weekend, the second row functions as a private lounge, independent climate, independent entertainment, independent seating. No other full-size American SUV offers this combination in a palette this distinctive. A lot of experienced GM owners will push back. Does a Yukon need this? GM isn't building this for the standard buyer. They're building it for the person choosing between a Denali Ultimate and an Escalade. This makes that decision harder. That's the point. The third row maintains the burgundy leather treatment, a detail worth noting because most competitors switch to lower-grade material in the back. The panoramic roof extends light all the way through, and the ambient lighting continues along the beltline into the third row. Material quality across all three rows: the leather grain is consistent, stitching lines are tight, and the wood-to-leather transitions show no visible gaps. The Bose speaker grills sit flush against the leather door surround in brushed aluminum. That's a craft detail that shows attention. Here's the third speculative technology, a multi-zone fragrance diffusion system integrated into the HVAC. Cartridges in the cabin air filter housing distribute a curated scent through the existing vent architecture. Mercedes does this on the S-Class. For a $120,000 Yukon competing against European luxury, this signals intent. My final assessment: this is the strongest interior argument GM has ever made for the Denali name. The piano black trim around the HVAC needs to go, and seat adjustment range still trails Lincoln. But the color commitment across three rows and the second row entertainment package put real pressure on the Escalade, for about $20,000 less. Remember that cabin we opened with, the one that looked like it didn't belong in a GMC? After walking through all three rows, the tech integration, the material choices, and the design restraint, it doesn't belong in a GMC. And that's the point. GM built this interior because they believe the Denali name can carry a cabin this ambitious. The backstory makes sense. This came from GM's luxury design studio, the same team that shapes Escalade interiors. They let them loose on a Yukon, and the result speaks for itself. I'd genuinely love to hear your perspective, especially if you've been cross-shopping between the Denali Ultimate and the Escalade. Drop your thoughts below. And if you want the full exterior breakdown of this special edition, that video is right here. If this kind of real, no-nonsense automotive analysis is what you're looking for, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.